For the longest time, I always wondered, where do I rank in other people's priority lists? Meaning, how important I am to another person's life, whether it be a friend, a family member, or a loved one. Honestly, a very deep question when you really get to the nitty gritty of it, because it forces you to really evaluate your importance in someone else's life. And a lot of times you'll find that a lot of people generally just put you at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to importance. And after a certain period of time, you have to understand that maybe instead of just being on this list, I can just exclude myself from it. What's going on, What's going on, guys? Your boy Disco Winner. Welcome back to the channel. And today I wanted to do a little bit of discussion. Kind of a not the best time to do a discussion video, considering I just got done streaming. It's 3 a.m. in the morning, but I wanted to give it a shot. And that's my phone going off. Hey, stop that. But I wanted to talk about today, guys, is the importance of knowing your self-worth, in the sense that making yourself the priority of your own life instead of worrying about being a priority in other people's lives. This sort of stems from a long history that I've had of feeling like, when it comes to like friendships and relationships or whatnot, it stems from a long history of feeling like I'm more of a convenience than an actual priority, you know. And this could be me just overthinking things. I am an overthinker. I tend to get into my own head. I tend to complicate things more than I need to, but I feel it's warranted. It's warranted to ask myself this sometimes, because when you build relationships with people over the years, you start to see things that you may have not have seen when you first met them, whether that be a friend or a potential lover. There's just things you start to notice, and you start to feel like a way about your relationship level with them, or your social link. Shout out to Persona fans that's out there. And generally, what I just wanted to speak on was just from personal experience. I remember this one situation where I was dating this girl. I won't name her just out of respect, but oh, I can't believe I hit start streaming instead of start recording. I gotta make sure not to do that. That's all D. Yeah, there was this one situation. I was dating this girl. Met her at UPS, and it took me a while to like bring myself to ask her out, but eventually I did after some months. We went on our first date. Everything was good. Everything was great. We had a great time. After a few more dates, we found ourselves becoming more intimate with each other. Nothing like extremely sexual, nothing like that, but just more like, more huggy, more kissy, that kind of stuff. Never got past a certain base, unfortunately, but it is what it is. It happens. We dated for around maybe arguably 3 to 5 months, maybe 6. Honestly, don't remember, but we dated for a good bit, and there were definitely dry moments in the relationship. It kind of at the time, even though she wasn't my girl yet, because this was more like a casual dating. We wasn't anything serious yet. We were sort of just testing the waters. It definitely felt like it was going somewhere, And after a while, things sort of just stagnated, and then eventually I would hit her up, and then I don't hear anything from her. And she sort of just kind of ghosted me in a sense. There was definitely some distance built between us, and eventually it just led us to stop talking altogether. There were instances where we would just hit each other randomly, but nothing would come out of it. And during this time, I wondered to myself, like, was it me? Because it was definitely like, there was definitely a vibe of like, okay, she's not feeling me anymore. And I was wondering, like, is it really me? And she would always tell me, like, oh, I'm busy, I got all this stuff to do and blah, 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 and all this other stuff. And I would look at, I can't believe, and like, sometimes I'd hate myself for doing stuff like this, but I would look at her snaps and stuff like that, or peep her Facebook or whatever. And then I see her like doing stuff for like, other people, and it's not like I was mad at it, but it was like, in the back of my head, I was like, if she really wanted to spend time with me, she would have made that time, And honestly, after a while, I started to realize that instead of just trying to rationalize it as in, oh, she's just busy. She'll get back to me. Spoiler alert, she never got back to me. It dawned on me that I just wasn't as important to her. I just wasn't on on her long list of like what she prioritizes people in her life. Where I used to be up here, I sort of just slowly, steadily fell down here. And it hurt. I'm not gonna lie, it hurt. And it left like a bad taste in my mouth when it came to like that sort of like those sort of predicaments. I was definitely putting in a lot more work than I guess I should have, not really expecting much from her. It taught me a valuable lesson of just knowing your own importance, because that whole situation, I kind of obsessed over it, and it kind of, in a lot of ways, I think it messed with me mentally. I think maybe it damaged my pride, but I think I needed that teaching experience to tell myself that, hey, don't put your eggs all in one basket. Focus on yourself, your goals. And despite learning that, I still have trouble executing that plan. Focus on myself and my goals. I'm definitely better at it now than I used to be. But I definitely have moments where I get depressed and my loneliness gets to me, and it gets dark. What I wanted to say with that being said is that never put too much stock into someone that's not really showing you that they deserve it. It's one thing for someone to say, hey, I'm free to do this and that, and then when you hit them up to see if they're still down to hang out, whatever, they give you some bullshit excuse, or they sort of just don't respond. They kind of flake on you. Keep in mind that when people do stuff like this, for the most part, especially if it's like a friend or anything like that, taking like intimate relationships out of it, just even speaking on like friendship kind of level, right? Not everybody that does this is ill-intentioned. Some people just have a tendency to forget. Some people just don't put too much thought into somebody taking time out of their day to hang out with them. It's not necessarily like an intentional thing. Some people just are just like that. Some people will leave you on red and not respond, or they'll see your message and not respond, thinking they're going to respond later but never do. Stuff like that. And what I say to you is that try not to take it personally, because I think that's where I went wrong in a lot of situations, where I took it personally. And just understand that some people are just not built like you, or they don't see things the way you do. And it's better to leave those kind of people alone and just live your own life. You don't have to necessarily cut them off, especially if it's somebody you know for like a long time, whether it be a lover or just a long time friend. If you start to notice signs of them them not putting too much effort into like the relationship, then you have every right to kind of fall back and start to focus on yourself, because at the end of the day, you have to always look out for yourself. You always have to have the best interest in yourself. I think that's where I went wrong. I didn't have the best interest in myself. I was more concerned about the other person's feelings, thoughts, concerns, and all that stuff, when really I should just been focused on how I felt. And honestly, if I can go back, at the first signs of her maybe like distancing herself from me, I probably would just let it be and never spoken to her again, And if she hit me back, she hit me back. It is what it is. If she don't, she don't. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I have to look out for myself and how I feel about things. And now that I got things to focus on, like make sure this YouTube channel pop off and make sure the Twitch stream is doing good and stuff like that, my mind is focused on important things, And I think that's another way to sort of help yourself focus on yourself, is find things to motivate you to focus on, hobbies, a new career goal, whatever that may be. Focus on those things, and eventually people that you want to come into your life to better your life, they'll eventually come. I want to leave you guys off with a thought, and it's simple as this. Do you think about what it would be like if somebody that you say you care about but don't really put a lot of effort into seeing or hanging out with them, do you think about what it would be like if they just suddenly just disappear from your life? How about this one? Do you think about the importance of showing someone that they're worth something? That's essentially the problem with us as humans. It's a problem I have. is that once we get comfortable with something, it sort of loses its value for us. We begin to take it for granted. We begin to sort of push it to the side, not show it enough attention. And then all of a sudden, when it's gone, it's like, oh my goodness, what happened? Like, I thought it was this, but it wasn't. I think that's a big flaw in a lot of us, that we take so many things in this life for granted. Is from speaking from personal experience, having lost someone that I loved a lot. It kind of goes to show you that people aren't as convenient as you think. People just aren't there when you want them to be. Because sometimes in life, when you want them there, no matter how bad you want them there, they just aren't. Sometimes they're just gone. There's not a thing you can do about it. But that's kind of it. I kind of rambled. This was sort of a freestyle kind of video. I didn't have really too much planning going into this. I kind of just want to talk. These videos where I kind of just talk, and in a lot of ways, it's therapeutic for me. So I kind of want to do more of these like discussion-based videos. But that's it for this video, guys. If you like what you saw, please considering liking and commenting on the video, even subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Helps your boy out with the algorithm, helps me get my videos seen by more people across the world. With that being said, guys, please take care, and I'll see you later. Peace.